And we're live. Kiwi.
Live.
What's up, dude?
What's up, Ephraim?
Dude, I'm so happy that I finally got you to do this, man. I would not have guessed that you would be episode number 9
I
out of the
know.
top 10.
Listen, I've been busy traveling all week. My agent called me and he said, I got a spot for you, number 9. So I said, oh, I'll take it.
That's
And
good,
this
man.
is,
That's good. First of
you
all,
know,
l'chaim, dude. Cheers.
cheers.
You have the Forester with you?
No.
You bring a bottle with you?
No.
Why not, dude?
You,
I feel like
you
it's gonna
want
be so much more fun if you get if we're unabashedly inebriated. I have a bottle of Redwood Empire, which is the new American whiskey, bourbon, and rye blend that I picked up this weekend for
to?
this
Nice.
weekend. Um, that is actually awesome, excellent.
All right.
But
I'm gonna say on it, but I'm gonna grab a bottle.
nice. All right, well, cheers anyway.
No,
Mm.
be there in 5 seconds.
Okay, fine, I'll wait. Um, so, dude, what's happening, man? How's the week been?
How's what?
How's the week been, dude?
Sorry, I got cut off. This is going great. This is a great start. Um,
Yeah, dude. By the way, all my starts have been awful so far. Either people
okay,
have
it's
cut
fine.
out and the service is lost, um, or I get calls and that cuts off the podcast. But so every time, like the first couple of minutes are always brutal, and then I kind of get into flow, and it's all
Uh-huh.
good.
Nice. Yeah, the week has been great. Um, aside from politics, but I try to stay out of that these days.
Yeah, smart, dude.
Um,
Definitely smart,
yeah,
man. It's crazy,
just for the day-to-day um, mental health, it's not a good thing.
dude. It's so bad. I've been I told you I've been erasing. I've been erasing. First of all, I haven't. I've been. I spend maybe 15 minutes a week on Instagram nowadays.
Cheers, cheers.
Which is cheers, dude. Cheers. Um, I have two cups here. Let me do got that little clink action. I have two cups. I have one for my seltzer and I have one for my whiskey. So I
Nice.
deleted. So I've deleted. I've found myself. And I've caught myself doing this before, but like when whether there's anything new to look at on your phone or not,
Yeah,
you
sure.
just like swipe to the app, and without even thinking about it, you just open it and you just start scrolling.
Yeah,
Like, so I caught myself doing that again, but when nothing was new on my newsfeed because I don't really follow a lot. It's just like beer recommendations.
right.
So I'm like, dude, I can't. And then I deleted the app, and I kept on accidentally opening the the Motorola nursery camera because that's like the next app over.
Yeah,
So I kept on.
it's like a dopamine addiction. It's like
Yeah, yeah, dude,
you,
absolutely. Absolutely, for better or for worse, by the way, because like you're either shocked by news that you're getting that's going to get some kind of reaction out of you, or it's good news that make that like you want to see or things that like you laugh and that that you find entertaining.
right. But the shocking thing to me is that most of the shocking news that I hear these days, it's sort of like, I mean, I'm not so shocked about anymore about it. Like
Oh yeah,
it's normalized. It's just the society is in shambles.
it's crazy,
Um,
dude. It's crazy.
and
It gets crazy when every single conspiracy theory is like, yeah, I kind of get that, and like,
right,
but and
exactly.
like you're not even like you don't even feel like like I don't really give too much stock to them,
Right. So
people get
when it's come to a point when it's come to a point where conspiracy theories are like a majority of them are somewhat feasible,
yeah,
then I just stop, stop following it altogether because like it's too crazy.
totally, yeah. You're dealing with too much bias, you're dealing with too much craziness for sure,
And
dude.
also I've been
Yeah.
dealing with my personal life also. I got 3 kids, job, it's just there's no room to be unhappy about these things.
Yeah, it impacts you. It definitely. I found for sure that it impacts my like minute by minute wellness. Like I'll find myself like kind of down. And I'll be like, oh my god, I spent like half an hour on Twitter just now reading, and like all these things are popping up. Or
Right.
I listened to Tucker Carlson podcast about how the entire world's falling apart every single day of the week, and I'm like, holy crap! Like,
Right. Well,
that's
that's
like
what sells.
that's the thing, right?
Yeah,
And that's, by
exactly.
the way, that's why I started. That's what got me to start doing this to begin with, was because that stuff, that shit sells, right? But we also see that the good stuff sells too. There's just less of it available. Like the people like
Oh
hanging out
yeah,
and getting together, and like everyone wanting to like everyone wants some kind of I guess one way or the other. They want either things to fall apart or things to be great. And so to have one of those things where things are good, one of those podcasts or one of these media forms where things are
oh
good
yeah,
and friends are just talking, like that's got to get a lot of positive. It's positive, and the world needs it.
for sure. It's very important, and I mean, conversation altogether. Just even if you disagree with each other, there's got to be a lot more of that.
Yeah,
Um, it's just yeah, society today is just totally emotionally based. I mean, it's all emotionally based, like every era, but like today is it's almost like
hmm
there's like an outside force affecting the world.
there is. It's
Like
called
like
social media, dude.
yeah,
These are algorithms. We never had these kind of like self-feeding loops that like pick up on the behavior and just keep on spitting it back at us over and over and over again until we don't know what to
yeah,
do with it.
right.
Like our parents never had that, and even us growing up didn't have that. Dude. You know what I was watching last night with my I was sitting on the couch. I was trying to find something to watch. My younger brother, who's 12,
Okay,
13, 13, and super super filtered. Lives in a very filtered. He watches Little House on the Prairie. That's the
right.
that's the television that he consumes, right? He goes, "Can we watch
Love it.
America's Funniest Home Videos?" And I'm like, "Nah, I don't know. This show's so cheesy. The stupid host and the stupid cheesy lines and like everything."
I used to watch as a kid every night. The host was Bob Saget.
Bob Saget? No, who's the dude with the
Bob,
gray hair? With the grayish hair?
no, before him, Bob Saget was the first host of Not the first, but he was like when I was
What?
a
No,
kid.
G. Yeah,
When I was a kid, the OG host was Bob Saget with the long curly hair. He was the father on Full House, but like this was like a side gig for him.
yeah, dude.
Um, and oh my God, me and my sisters loved it.
Yeah, so we used to gather on my block. All the kids in the block would gather to one house, and we'd like take turns in the week rotating which house we'd go to. And some of the it's funny because a lot of times parents' rooms were like off limits. It was just like like private, like their room, whatever they'll go in,
Right,
which is totally the way to do it. But this parents for whatever reason, the only TV they had in the house was in their room. So we'd all hustle into their room and like hop onto the beds and just like
right.
hang out and watch America's Funniest Home Videos and we'd watch all those shows. America's Funniest. Remember Wipeout?
Of
That show
course.
where that whole obstacle course, dude. And like that was like we just sit there and we would love it, and we would just sit there rolling on the floor laughing. Um, so I was like, nah, I don't want to watch it, and ended up putting it on, and it was me, my dad, my mom, Rachel, and my younger brother, and we were on the couch and we were howling from laughter, dude. I mean,
Right.
and it was crazy because you watch these videos and like the old school videos where it says on the video when it was taken, like the date
Yeah,
and
of
the time.
course.
So it was like January 2nd, 1999, or like October 5th, 2002, and like you look at the world, dude, that world was so the world is so different now,
So different.
dude.
Totally
The way
different.
that houses, the way that people decorate their houses, the way that kids interact, the way that people dress, the way that they interact with one another. It's like it felt like I was watching like a time portal, dude. It was, I mean, I guess it is, but
It's
it
not
was
even
so
that.
crazy.
It's back then. It was just quality of life. Like a public school janitor still had a two-story house with a car.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
now they're living in the projects on a bike with the same job.
yeah, yeah.
It's
And what
crazy.
do you think that is?
It's just it's the value system of the American citizen. Like it's gotten
Such a
so
good
out of
call.
hand. it's gotten so out of hand that like the fact that you could just not do anything and make $1 million these days, it just it's just a whole culture. It takes away from just wanting to grow as a human being, just straight like that. It's just people are trying to um, they're trying to stray away from the natural order of how to grow up and become a person. Like it's very hard to
And
explain,
I think
but
also everyone's always looking for a cheat code for everything too. Everyone's
that's
looking for
basically
a
what I'm
get rich.
saying. That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying. But
you
the
want to, you
thing
want to,
is,
you want to, you want a quick solution to everything. You want a quick solution to getting rich. You want a quick solution to your job. You want a quick solution to dealing with your kids and like, and everything. And there is no quick, and any quick solution for the things that matter, like relationships or like work or like accumulating knowledge. None of this
right,
stuff happens overnight. This happens over the course of years or decades.
oh, for sure. Like uh, the whole, yeah. I mean, the real change, I think it probably started around the '60s. The whole hippie movement and all that stuff, because obviously, like the
That was a
government
good
trying to get.
change.
Yes, but I'm talking about the government trying to get rid of it.
Oh yeah, that was a bad change. That was
So
yeah, that was a bad change.
no, basically, just I don't know. I like to blame the government for a lot of things, but like,
Yeah,
um,
me too, dude.
it, but it's really just there's a value system, and back then there was a better value system. I mean, there wasn't that many distractions, obviously. Like the 16-year-old who makes $1 million in one day on TikTok, fine, he's set for life, like he makes $1 million a day, but he doesn't. Just in terms of the value of life, he will never come to terms with it.
Yeah, yeah,
He's just
yeah. Of
gonna
course.
like, yeah, it's just so, but if you times that by all the people in the culture, it creates
And not
havoc.
even that, but also what people aspire to. So if everyone's aspiring to be like this 16-year-old, like it used to
Right,
be, I mean, aspirations were to have a family, have a house, and and to have a job that you like, pretty much, and then retire. Like that was aspirations. And actually, I mean, I was talking to a lot of my students about this. Um, like we're all looking for success, but like we don't know what like there's like success just means to be good at something. So a lot of times when you say
right,
success, it just means people are generally talk about money, right? You're like, oh, I'm successful, I have a lot of money, but like,
right.
dude, you as a dad with a home and three kids and a wife and a family and like a community that you participate in
That's what it's
every
all
week.
about.
Dude, yeah. I mean, you live a richer, more successful and happy and full life than any 16-year-old TikToker will. But but you know what else? So what else was also funny was just seeing how parents like let their kids just do whatever they wanted. In the
Right,
'90s, early 2000s,
right.
dude. Like there's this great video of this dad, like this dad who, I mean, he probably lives in one of the flyover states, is what it looked like,
Hmm.
and God bless, and his 2-year-old daughter. He has a 2-year-old, like probably 2 or 3-year-old daughter, and like a 1-year-old son, right, or 1.5, 2-year-old son,
Yeah,
and the girl's driving one of those, those like baby cars where like it has a little,
yeah,
accelerator, a
sure.
little brake. So she's going and she's drives, drives straight into the dad. And the dad starts giving her a lecture. You don't like drive into people. She goes, okay, and she backs up over her 1-year-old brother, and like
Right,
this kid is getting tumbled over. But the kid doesn't react. He's fine, even though
right,
I was having a heart attack, and the kid is fine, and he climbs into the back of the car. And then she starts going forward, but he's not into the back of the car yet, so he flips backwards again out of the car. And
right.
the whole thing is like, oh my God. But at the same time, I bet that kid is like that kid is growing is like fearless now. Like that
Oh,
kid
for
is
sure.
growing up, like not afraid of falling, not afraid of like, dealing with stuff like that. Because like like from when he was growing up, he was just ready to like he realized that falling wasn't a big deal and he'll be fine, and he wasn't afraid to do it.
Yeah, a big part of his experience for sure.
Yeah, dude. I feel like your kids are like that also, by the way. I feel like your kids have no problem like running into a wall, falling down, bouncing off, and just like getting up and doing it again.
Nah, my oldest, Nathan, he cares, but Jordan doesn't.
Yeah, but he only cares because he knows that someone's around. I think that like if you weren't there and it happened, like he'd be fine. Like he
Right.
just kind of
Oh,
knows
for
that he
sure.
can come
Yeah.
crying to you. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of how
No.
it works.
When a kid hurts himself, the only reason why a lot of the times the reason why they cry is because of your reaction to it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
if they
exactly.
fall and you go like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" They'll start crying because they think something's wrong.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was talking to
Yeah.
Rocco about this. We were going on a walk today, and she was saying how good your wife is at dealing with that, like not making a big deal out of things that aren't big deals, and like realizing that kids are like
Yeah.
pretty much just like rubber bands, like just bounce all over the place.
For sure.
But um, but yeah, dude, that was so that show was a throwback, man. That was great. I don't know
America's
if I'm gonna keep
Funniest.
on watching it, but it's great. Yeah, America's Funniest Home Videos, dude. I mean, people would just spend their lives taping, their kids, hoping that someone did something funny enough to send in.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then they win 10 grand. What do you think 10 grand was in 2000?
Oh my God, probably like 100.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
I
in
mean, if
2000.
you
2000.
if
Yeah,
you're
that's
living, if you,
definitely.
yeah, but even so, let's say you're living in Minnesota, or let's say you're living in even the suburbs somewhere. You're living upstate New York, and you're in the suburbs. Ten
Yeah.
grand is 10 grand's your mortgage for the year. I mean, that's like a huge. That's a
Yeah,
huge
for
deal on your
sure.
plate.
Yeah, but after taxes and fees, probably like six.
No, yeah, do you pay taxes and fees on game shows? Then they just write you a
For
check.
sure. That was the whole Oprah scandal. Because Oprah, there was one episode where she gave everyone in the audience a car, and
Okay. What?
everyone,
A car?
yeah, a car. There was one episode she gave everyone in the audience a car. You get a car, and
Okay.
you get a car, and everyone was crying, freaking out. But months later, people didn't realize they had to pay the taxes on the car, and like
Mm-hmm.
and all these people who didn't have the money, they like went into debt because of like their car, and she like basically screwed over everyone by just giving them a free car.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I
It
don't
was
know anything
yeah.
about. I, it's crazy. I mean, I heard that about lottery winners. I heard that I think that lottery winners, like, I think what was it? If you were in poverty, and then you won the lottery within 10 years, like overwhelming
Yeah,
odds
because
were that you're back in poverty again. Because what got you into that position is not money isn't necessarily going to bail you out. Um, like it's almost like the homeless problem with mental health, and not to compare, obviously, poverty with homelessness, but if you like people that spent years and years and years trying to throw money at the homeless problem and it never worked, and like you could take a homeless person and stick them into a five-star penthouse apartment in Manhattan, and they'll be homeless again in a month, because whatever the cause
oh, for sure, it's a mental
of
thing.
their homelessness. Yeah, exactly. And so poverty is, I think more of a mindset. It's I think, or at least it's a way of living and bad decision making. I mean, there are people I know personally that don't have a ton of money, and there are the people that I could tell are going to make their way out based on the way that they live and the way that they think. They think by saving. They think by instead of shopping at this supermarket, I'm going to the other one, and I'm going to save that
Right,
$5 and put it somewhere else, right? And eventually it accumulates like that. Like, it's just a matter of time before that gets you out of it. But then you have the people that out of $100 that they have, at a supermarket, they'll spend $100 on half the groceries because they're not thinking about the pricing compared to what else they could be getting,
wow.
and and I'm like, and they're like, oh, we did this. We had this meal. We had we bought this from the supermarket. I'm like, why would you ever go to that supermarket? Go to Trader Joe's. Go wherever. I mean, you're paying
Yeah,
$7 or $10 for 3 or 4 peppers, and you go to
you're
Costco
paying
and you
like
get the same thing for half the price. And so I
yeah.
think that a lot of people that don't have that get in these extreme situations do it because there's a fiscal irresponsibility. Um, that in the way that they live. Many times, I don't know about every time. There's certain things that are outside of your control. But
Right. Yeah, like these days, if you're making all that money on TikTok and you don't hire a financial manager, you'll probably end up broke.
or if you're an athlete, dude. I mean,
Yeah,
what percentage of, I mean, all these athletes that have, that either they haven't had money, or even if they did have money, they have their own money now, right?
yeah,
And they spend it faster than they can make it.
of course.
I
That's
heard of there's
Antoine Walker.
why what happened with him?
Antoine Walker.
Yeah, I don't even know what
He
that is. He's a football
no
player, right?
no, he played for the Celtics.
Oh, really?
Um,
He's a basketball
yeah,
player?
yeah. But
Okay.
he made millions, and he legit lost it all. Like he was homeless. Like by the end of his
Yeah.
career, yeah, he's like one of those
Yeah,
players.
yeah, there was a couple of players that I read about that, like growing up in the 2010s. Um, they were great, and then I heard now and I see videos now that they're like in the streets, and uh, it wasn't
Did you
J.R.
hear
Smith, was it?
Oh no, that's Delonte West.
Delonte West, dude, that broke my
Yeah,
heart, man. That was so
yeah.
sad because he was such a good player.
Did you hear the story with Shaq his rookie year?
No, what did
That
he do?
Shaq signed with the Orlando Magic his rookie year, and he got a $1 million signing bonus check.
Hmm.
Like the day he signed, he got a check for $1 million. So
Okay.
second he got the
And this was
check,
in 1990, right? 1990 something.
I think 92.
Okay.
Yeah, 92. Um, he immediately goes to the car dealership and buys like a Bentley for himself. Okay, so like
Yeah.
so that's a million. The Bentley was like I think it was like 200. So now he's at 800, right? So
Okay.
he gets in the car, he drives home, and he said his father saw the car. He's like, "Oh, that's a nice car. I want that one too." So Shaq goes back to the
Hmm.
dealership and gets Shaq goes back to the dealership and gets another one for his dad. So now he's at
Hmm.
600. This is, and he
Okay.
said this is all within like a couple of hours of him like depositing the check.
Okay.
Um, and then his mom wanted a different car, so he got his mom a different car for like 150K, whatever it was. By the end of that 24-hour period, he was overdrawn.
No
Yeah,
way.
he was his
And
account was
Shaq's a
yeah,
businessman.
but this is before he learned anything about it or like he was just like a
Hmm.
kid. He's like 20 years old.
Hmm.
So first of all, his money manager called him and said, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
And so his money manager said you didn't take into account the taxes off that $1 million check, and you didn't take
Okay.
into account like all these other factors. Whatever. He obviously like cleared it after he's an NBA star, but like
Yeah. No,
I'm
of
just
course,
saying
but the
like
but the point you're making is true. People eat with their eyes when it comes to money,
right. But like
and not with
that
their
was like
stomach,
that
and
was
they're
like
just
his old.
instinct.
But that the end of the story is that he's like that was my old money manager. After that, I fired him. Um, and he said he hired a small little Jewish man.
Yeah. Yeah. No surprise there. Right?
Yeah,
The guy
and
calls him
he's
up. The guy calls him up every time he fills up gas and asks him why he didn't go
yeah,
down to the gas
but
station down the block that's 10 cents cheaper.
but but since he hired that Jewish guy, he's been with him ever since. Like he's still with him.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard about that actually.
Yeah,
He's been to his house for like Shabbat meals and stuff like that.
yeah, it's hysterical.
Yeah, it's great. But
But
uh,
like
but you know, but for every one Shaq, you have 200 or 300 or 500 Delonte West. I feel like. Like
yes,
you have like every one guy that builds a business empire and brands himself and brands his name and brands like his being, like this big, you know, deep
it's also
voice.
how hard you go. Most players, the second they get their money, like 20 of their family members come to them,
Yeah,
and now
yeah.
he
Which
pays
I
like
wouldn't know what to do. By the way,
exactly.
if I
It's
was
a
in their
hard
shoes.
situation, and if you're really tight with them, you're just gonna say, "I'll do anything for you," and then like that
Yeah, but you
depletes
know
it like
what? By the
crazy.
way, I'm sorry. At the end of the day, I get you, and I get that, and let's say you're Mario Chalmers, right?
Yeah,
Who's at best a mediocre player for all time,
yeah.
right?
He probably
And
cleared. He probably cleared total in his career like 20 million or something.
he made more than that, dude. He was a starting point guard of the Miami Heat for
50,
let's say 5 years.
50,
Yeah,
50.
$50 million, and now you have
Right.
20 people in your family depending on you. You don't need
That's
fifty
not.
million dollars to support 20 people.
I understand, but if they all want to live lavishly, that 50 million goes quick.
Well, yeah, but you're not necessarily. You don't have to live lavishly. Like
But
Mario,
they
like
are.
Mario Chalmers would say, "I'll buy."
Yeah, but they spent the
Yeah,
first 20. They spent the first 20 years of their life in the projects on nothing. Like they're gonna go crazy. Like they don't know what to do with themselves. Like
yeah.
it's like an animalistic behavior. It's like it's yeah. You gotta know what you're doing.
You got to know what you're doing, dude. You got to get someone that's responsible. And the other thing is, like what we said, full circle, is that people are emotional, dude. And people make a lot
Oh
of
my God.
emotional decisions. They don't make intelligent, they don't make intelligent decisions. And the truth is, by the
That
way, that I
yeah.
think, go ahead.
No, no, no. I agree. That's what I'm saying. Most people do make their decisions based on that.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that emotional wellness and health is something that you could invest in, and you could do something about, and there's so many people, I even myself, I mean, I've had things come up in my life that, you know, whatever it was, and obviously whatever I dealt with was smaller than what majority of the world deals with, but that I'm going through it and I don't even realize how unhealthy I'm being until something snaps me out of it. And I'm like, I
Right.
haven't been productive in like a week, dude. Like, those like week, like even like a day. How
100%.
how shitty do you feel when a day goes by and you're like, I did nothing. Like I did nothing
Yeah.
for myself. I did nothing for the people I love. I did nothing to be responsible. And like, how bad of a feeling is that? And
Worst.
then you realize that something's weighing you down, and then you deal with it, or you work on it, or you become aware of it, and then you can work towards resolving it, and you get better. I mean, a lot of times for me, it's like it's a lonely thing, right? And if I have a good friend that I talk to, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my god, I got that off my chest. Then like the next day, I'm a different human being. I
Yeah.
bounce around, and I'm more productive, and I'm more energized, and I'm looking for opportunities instead of just being weighed down. I think that's it's a big thing. But yeah, dude, it breaks my heart to hear stories about athletes that had everything, were top of the world. Because whatever caused them to, not whatever caused them. I wouldn't want to say that, but listen, they had whatever it took to be some of the best in the planet or in history at an activity. But whatever caused them to be irrational with their money, when they're 20, if they don't work on it, they'll still be irrational when they're 40,
Oh,
and
100%.
it doesn't
I mean,
go
they could go
away. Like you don't,
forever. Right.
yeah, you don't mature without doing the work, and someone like LeBron, and I know, I know that your take on LeBron is less than loving, but I mean, I think that he's
Yeah.
mature. You could see that he's matured as a human being, I think, or as a player, and
No.
I think that he makes. You don't think
No, I
so?
don't. No.
Tell me why.
I, you want me to go on the extreme?
Let's go out of 10 extreme. Let's say 10's the most extreme. Let's go like a 7.
7.
Yeah.
Um,
So like pretty
I,
extreme, but not crazy extreme.
I think the man is detrimental for society.
Okay. Wow, that's a 7. Why do you think that?
You want me to go 10?
No,
I mean,
I want you to stay 7. I want you to explain how you got.
he's constantly in support of the wrong ideas from the beginning of what we said in this podcast on helping humans grow, and he's his again. I didn't want to like get into
Yeah.
politics or whatever, but like his viewpoints on the world and how people should be is it's not it's detrimental to human growth. He's always preaching the wrong things, and he's always
So,
going
yeah.
he's always going with he does it seems like he doesn't he's just a puppet and he doesn't use
I
his
think
own
that in the
head.
last couple of years he's been less. I think in the last couple of
I
years
don't
it's been
think
less.
so.
Don't you think?
No,
He's
no.
been keeping his mouth shut about a lot about things going on in the world. He wasn't
Um,
doing that in 2017 and 2018, and even 2020 he wasn't doing that. 2024
yeah,
he's
but
doing that more.
okay, but so maybe his effect has lessened, but him as a person, I don't think he's changed. I think his publicist told him to shut the fuck up. Like, like that's.
Right.
I think he's
So
so view like I don't know.
yeah,
It's just I just the way I read him, the way I see him talk, he's just
I totally understand, dude. I totally understand where you're coming from. I really do.
and
I really understand where you're coming
he's
from.
been caught lying like all the time. Like it's
Right.
not even like
So I
I
understand where
don't
you're
know.
coming from, and I want to and what I've been thinking. Actually, I've been pretty intentional about this. I don't know how. I try to be like this. Do you remember Ari Shafir's podcast on Tucker Carlson,
First of all, yeah, but first of all, I just want to say
where
the reason why he's detrimental to society is only because he's so famous. Like he has such
he's
an
so
impact.
influential,
He's so influential, and he's
but he
going down the
could
wrong
be
path.
so great, right?
Oh my God,
He
he could
could be
change the
so
world if he
great. He
wanted.
could be
That
incredible.
that's why I don't like it. But yeah, what were you saying about Ari Shafir?
So Ari Shafir's game that he said that he'd play, which is defend the guy like he's your friend. Like, you come up with someone, like anyone, and you come up with a defense for them, right? Because like if you were if someone said if someone said what you're saying about me, right, as your
Right,
friend, then you'd probably think of like, yeah, and or yeah, but or yeah, like I hear what you're saying, this, and this, and like you like I think there's a charity. Like I don't think that what you're saying is incorrect, and I don't even think that. And I think that a lot of people have the same opinion as you, including myself at one point, because I
yeah,
really felt that way. Um, Hello,
yeah, yeah,
you hear me? Yeah.
yeah.
Um, so on the other hand, what I'm trying to do, and the truth is that I don't even know if this is 100% the right thing to do all the time because certain people might deserve, you know, like every action has a consequence, and some people deserve, and part of living in a free society is that when you say things of consequence, when you do things of consequence, then there's an effect and there's a response, and you have to own up to that. And I think that's definitely true. I
Yeah.
think that just as much shit as you could give LeBron for, what he's done for let's say, how long has he been in the league for? 19 years, 20 years now.
I think 21.
So the first decade, I don't think he opened his mouth. Right, he was just playing basketball.
Right.
Right. Then he was a decade in, and he became a little bit more vocal. And then I think he was probably vocal for maybe 7 years, and then in the last 4 years, he kind of shut up. Right. And whether it's his publicist or whether it's him or whether it's him being intelligent enough to listen to his publicist and not getting swept away by all the fame and all like the fact that everyone is just ogling over everything
Right.
that he says. Like you got to give the guy credit for learning to shut the hell up, about things that like because he was so disastrously off, like with his finger off the pulse of what of what the world was thinking, that it kind of takes a mature individual to say like, you know what, I'm just gonna shut the hell up and just keep on doing what
I'm
I
not.
do.
I'm not so sure that's what he did. I'm thinking. I.
But you don't know.
Right.
You don't know. And we'll never know. And so all you could do is choose to be charitable, with the way you look at him or not, and I mean, yeah, he has a history. I even call it a history because out of 21 years of a career, if you spent a third of it being outspoken and two-thirds of it being, relatively quiet,
Right.
that's pretty good to me. I mean, I've been outspoken. I've been idiotic more than I haven't been in my life. I've been a fool. But I'm hoping that the times that I'm not an idiot, that it
Okay, I mean,
compensates
if
for all the time.
right,
You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm wrong. That's what
yeah,
I think right now. By the way,
yeah, but
cheers, because I
the
have
the
my second glass of
yeah,
scotch
but
over here.
correct. But all I'm saying is the fact that he's silent now doesn't take away the stuff he said before.
Yeah, but you never could really,
Meaning,
can
like
you?
those, like,
How are you going to do that?
what do you mean?
How do you take back the
No,
things
he
you said
said
before?
crazy things that you come vocal with it and say I was an idiot.
Oh, yeah, sure. But how many people in your life do you know ever do
No,
that?
no, of course. I'm not saying he should. I'm saying is that he still stands by what he says. He's just being silent for now. But like, okay,
I don't know. Yeah. There have been a lot of times where I've said hurtful things to people, or I've said idiotic things to people, and maybe it's because I've said it to their face that I felt
listen,
the need to
yeah, yeah,
apologize.
right,
And I've come up to them and I said, listen, man, like, if my joke was like, if my joke was not funny and like a little hurtful, like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry I said it to you, man. I didn't mean that.
right,
I've done that. In the last year, I've done that a bunch. Where
yeah.
I've just said,
I will,
just like, yeah,
yeah, I will say one good thing about him.
he's the best
He's a
player of all time.
no, no, he's not. But
Yes, he is.
he's a phenomenal basketball player. That's what I'll say about
He's
him.
Dude. He's the best of all time. He's the greatest of all time.
Okay, I mean, I don't talk about
You
that.
don't have to get into it with
The,
me. It's okay.
there's
I don't
no
want you to get
reason for me to
upset.
get into it. Like I know my truth, and
The show's called "Come
like,
Together." We're not
yeah,
here to fight about whether LeBron James about the fact that LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan. We're not here to fight
right.
about that. You know. But
Not at all. Not at
yeah,
all.
I hear you, man. I hear you, man. So, dude, what are the odds of me getting you down to or up to New York for Tedeschi Trucks and Dark Star Orchestra in late August?
Um, not too good.
Dude, let me th- let me pitch this to you, okay? Right? Tedeschi Trucks is playing in
Yeah.
Bethel,
Okay.
right? How many times have you been to Bethel?
I
Like
don't know.
for a great concert, for a great show? A dozen, 2 dozen?
Probably twice. Probably twice. No, twice.
You've been to Bethel twice, really?
Yeah, for one for Dave Matthews and
Who's a
one.
massive anti-Semite, it turns out.
Yeah, they all are.
Yeah, and then one time.
I forgot. I
Okay, well,
forgot.
either way,
It might have been like a
it's good.
cover
It's a
band
great.
or something.
So here's the game plan, right? The game plan is that Tedeschi Trucks is in Bethel. I'm going to be flying in from Florida for it. So first of all, we can fly together because I'm flying in from Florida for it. Second of all, Dark Star Orchestra, Grateful Dead cover band, is playing the next day in Massachusetts. It's a 3.5 hour drive,
They are great.
but
They are
it's
great.
at one of the best brew. Are they? I've never even listened to them yet.
Ooh, Dark Star I've seen. I can't even count how many times. They're really
Right.
good,
So,
but mostly at
yeah, they're
festivals.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah, they're very
How
very
do they
good.
compare to J Rad?
Completely different. They each have their own style, but like you'll see what I'm talking about. It's
Like, I know J Rad's upbeat. J Rad's a lot more high, like a lot more faster pace. I think. Like if I'm
it's
going for a jog, I can listen to J Rad. I can't listen
nah,
to Dead when I'm jogging.
right. Dark Star
But
is
they
more
also
like
get
Dark
yeah.
Star's more trippy, heady, like dark, like slow tunes. Like you'll like it.
So I gotta get in some. I gotta either smoke a ton or take some psychedelic.
You don't have to. I mean,
I mean, I don't have to, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to sit at a brewery in Massachusetts, listening to a trippy Grateful Dead band without being inebriated. I mean, my only fish concert I went to. Anyway, wait, before I go to the fish concert, so dude, me and you fly in. Derek trucks is Sunday, right? You're not missing work Sunday. Take off work Monday, right?
Yeah.
Tuesday morning, we could fly out of Boston and we could be back for you to go to work on Tuesday. And we'd go to two great concerts back to back, 2 nights in a row. One of them is at one of the best breweries in America, Treehouse Brewing, and it'd be
Uh-huh.
so much fun, dude. Come on,
It would be.
I
It
have
would
two.
be great.
I have two. I have two tickets to Derek Trucks, and Rachel's not going, and and dude, our wives and kids could hang out, man, while we go on this
In New
trip.
York.
No, no, in
Yeah.
Florida, but like but at that point, we'll hopefully be in the new house.
No, we'll go. Tedeschi Trucks plays in Florida all the time. We'll go then.
I know, but they're in Jacksonville, dude. The odds of us going to Jacksonville are so much lower than the odds of us flying to New York for a day and a half.
That's not true because we could drop our wives and kids off at Disney and then continue north.
That's a great call, actually. Yeah, I know. I'm not paying for hotels and Disney trips and all of that for just to go to just think about how much more money you're going to spend dropping them off at Disney
Okay,
to
so
go to a
so
Derek Trucks
now
concert.
so that not Disney. Like fucking, we'll do an Airbnb in Legoland, and we'll continue north.
Oh man. Okay, fine. I'm gonna have to find someone else to go with me then, I guess, right?
Yeah,
Probably.
but
Okay.
it's Tedeschi Trucks then Dark Star.
Yeah. 2 nights in a
Gotcha,
row, dude.
dude. Live
That doesn't
music is
entice you
great.
at all?
Dude, there's nothing like just standing listening to live music. There's really, especially when you're part of like a huge crowd and everyone's in on it together, and you're just like, you look at the stranger next to you and you just smile at each other, and it's like your best friends. It's like
Yeah. That's amazing, isn't
there's
it?
there's nothing like it. Like the connection you feel with the people. It's like a whole, yeah, yeah.
So I went last night to see Deadpool 3.
How
Um,
was it?
dude, incredible. It was so good.
Oh,
It
yeah,
was
I see it.
so funny. It was so good, dude. But you have to see it in theaters with a crowd for the
Right,
exact reason that you just told me. You're gonna pay $40. You're gonna pay $20 for tickets. It's gonna be you. It's gonna be you and your wife. You're gonna go to the movies, and you're gonna sit there, and you're gonna be so happy that you went now,
right.
because now is when there's still a ton of people going to every showing, and everyone's excited about everything, and everyone's laughing at every joke, and everyone hyped about every big moment. And they did such a good job at like nailing everything, dude. They did
And the
such a
writing was
great
good.
job with that
They
movie.
do good writing.
The
Yeah,
writing was the writing was impeccable.
right.
Like I was sitting there, and we were crying from laughter. We were crying from laughter, and the people next to us are crying from laughter. People are like cheering, the audience is clapping, and like the movie ends and everyone starts clapping like it's an airplane that landed in
Right.
2010. Like it's
So funny.
crazy. And
I
dude, you
love that. I
gotta
love
go
them.
see it. It's such a great experience.
But
You
here,
even have
that's
to
my
get the
thing.
references.
Wait. That's my thing. That experience you just said. Why can't the country be like that? God damn it.
Yeah, dude. Well, you know what? I think that so COVID killed a lot of that, right? But
The
I
country was
went
like the
to
country. The country was like that on September 12th, 2001.
yes, and it was like that for the next 10 years. The country, I think, stopped being like that when smartphones recircuited the way that we experience people and crowds and things, right?
Yeah.
And everyone became a threat, and everyone became. I was actually talking to Guy about this on the podcast. Um, and well, he was on it,
Oh,
I
that
think,
was so
like
funny.
last.
Yeah, you sent me the
Yeah,
link, and like I didn't listen to the whole thing, but like I scrolled through some like segments,
yeah,
and I scrolled through a segment of him just hating on Jordan Peterson.
yeah.
I was like, "Whoa, guy! I didn't know you hated the guy so much." Jeez.
Guys, I love him, dude. I love his takes, dude. He has
He's
such
so
hot
funny.
takes. They're so great. But
He's so funny.
so we were talking about how when we were in high school, and I don't think you had this problem, but I had this for sure. That when I was like, because I was in an all boys school, and when I was talking, when it came time when I was started like talking to girls, it was like
Okay.
I would text girls instead of talking to them. Like I was afraid
Okay.
to talk to girls face to face, and
Okay.
so I would always prefer to like say anything over text. And if I liked a girl, I would tell her I liked her over a text. And if I
Oh
like
God,
anything,
really?
yeah,
It's so fun. It's so cute.
dude, it's not cute. It's sick. Okay, it's bad, but um, but I knew
Oh
it. By
man.
the way, I knew it was a problem. Like I felt shame texting it. I really did. Like I remember like I remember those
Yeah.
moments because it's happened more than once. I felt shame not being able to look a girl in the face and being like, I like you a lot, and like I would love to like go out with you, or I like,
Yeah.
can we hang out? And and I also remember the first time I actually told a girl that I liked her to her face was junior year of high school,
That's
and
scary. That's scary.
dude, I was
Yeah.
so scared, man. My
Oh
heart was
yeah.
gonna dry.
Of
It was
course.
one of the
Yeah.
most
I
human
remember that.
experience. You remember that, dude?
Yeah, I remember the first time I told a girl that. Yeah, I was contemplating doing it for like a week before I did it. Like,
Yeah, and you relive every single moment in your head leading up to it, and you're like,
no
"Oh my
question.
God, how do I do this, dude?" You
It's
do, right?
crazy.
But then you make it through, and then the next time it becomes a little easier. And then by the time I was in college, I was like, "Hey, like, want to go check out like the pictures in my bedroom?" I'm like, okay, like,
Exactly. Totally different.
like, but
Yeah, you
but
cross some
by the
balls.
but to be fair, right? To be fair, I don't think that I was the only one having that reaction, and I think that when the entire world started communicating via their phones and social media and text or whatever, we lost like we lost the ability to laugh with a stranger, and
We
we
lost
lost
that
a lot of
human
those shared
feeling.
experiences. Yeah, but then
Yeah,
then there are times where you get it. You get it. You get it when like
yeah.
an airplane hits turbulence, and like you and the stranger next to you are both afraid, and like you look at each
Right,
other, and you're like you both know that you're afraid. Or in a movie
right,
when everyone's laughing, or a baseball game when the team when an invested fan gets up after like 14 Bud Lights that he spent like $200 on.
right. See,
I
see,
mean,
but what you're saying is AI can't replicate that.
definitely not, dude. You crazy?
Right. No,
No,
that's what I'm
there's
saying.
something
So
so
that's why
fundamental to
right,
humanity. But the problem, so the danger, I think, is not that AI could replicate it, but that we forget it. That these events
right.
become less and less and
Yeah,
less
we're
frequent.
dulling ourselves. We're dulling ourselves.
Yeah. Well, not even
Yeah,
that. We're
numbing
cutting those
ourselves.
events out of our lives. I
Yeah,
mean,
slow. Yeah.
like think about this, right? And I was thinking. I mean, actually, I didn't think about this until this minute. But like, all those like, did you go to summer camp when you were growing up in high
Yes.
school?
Yes.
Where'd you go to which and not like where which camp, but like was your camp in the Poconos? Was it in the upstate New York? Where was it?
It was a camp in upstate New York.
So you probably went at some point in camp upstate New York to a little league baseball game, right? Like one of those like AAA league baseball games or
Yes.
whatever it was.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? And they had like this
100%.
tiny little stadium, and it was 2 or 3 thousand seats, and the whole town, all the townies would come to this baseball game, and they would
Yeah.
support the team, and they would support the local players or their kids or their friends or their cousins would be playing in the game, and they would get invested, and they would cheer them on, and you would get excited, and everything would and like there was a palpable excitement and magic in the
Yeah.
air.
And then the announcer
Like you
would get,
feel it.
then, yeah. Then the announcer would get on and be like, "Let's all welcome the Jewish camp that came today." And everyone's like, "Hey!" You all like,
Yeah,
yarmulkes and tzitzis.
but my
Yeah.
point is like my point is like we need more of that. I went to Wrigley Field for the first time recently, and after the
Oh yeah.
game, the Cubs lost, the Cubs. Um, holy crap! I'm so embarrassed right now. Who's the it's not the
Yeah,
White
the
Sox, the
Cubs.
Bears.
The Cubs.
Oh, the Cubs. Okay, the Cubs lost,
You're right. Oh
and
my God, you were right the first time.
the Cubs lost, and outside the stadium at the end of the game, there was a splash pad for kids. There was a local live band of like three mediocre musicians, and I'm a mediocre musician, and they were definitely mediocre, and
Right.
and a bunch of people hanging out, eating hot dogs and drinking beer and like having ice cream, right? And
Yeah.
at the end of that game, the entire environment of whoever was in Wrigley Field, you know, the entire environment was just warm and buzzing and electric, and everyone was looking and you could see that like people felt at ease with other strangers. Like there was a sense of community. Like I don't know who you are, and and like I think that the other thing is that we look at strangers like they're threats. Everyone's a predator. Everyone's a threat. Everyone's a danger. Everyone is a psychopath or a murderer, and
Yeah.
because we're fed all these crazy stories all the time, that we look at strangers in the worst way possible. I think a lot of times, and then when you have these community events like a baseball game where everyone's cheering for the same team, and then they lose, and you say, okay, well it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They lost. Let's let our kids play outside for a little bit, and they just like sit someone else, and they see someone else wearing a Cubs jersey that's the
Oh
same thing
man.
that they're wearing, and they're
Right.
happy, and they're
Then
like,
yeah.
"Hey, you're my buddy," and
Well,
then all
yeah.
of a sudden, like then,
It's
yeah,
group psychology, but yeah. I mean that's basic. You're identifying with it, but it's a good thing for it's a good
yeah. I
feeling.
think we need more of it, dude. I think there has to be, and I don't know who the push could be, or what the push could be. There has to
Why
be a
can't it be
push
the fact that
again.
we're American? Why can't it be the fact that we're American?
So actually, it's funny because I was talking to my friend of Rummy about this, because because he lives in Israel now, and he was talking about, and I was asking him, I was like, "Do you think?" And I said, we know it's not even think, but we pretty much know at this point that like if Israelis weren't getting attacked all the time by everyone around them, then they would probably rip each other apart, right? Like leading
Right.
up to October 7th, the country was in like was going ballistic over politics, and Avrami would tell me every single day that he was going to work. They're like, I can't go to work because there's a protest blocking the street, or I can't get,
Oh
I
god,
have to get
yeah.
off the bus and I have to take it, and like, so I think that America is so isolated and so safe, and we haven't had literally, any really many external threats that would bring us together since 2001, that I think that most people just I think that that we don't have anything to bring us together like that. And I think a big
Right.
part of human psychology is that if there's not a threat to make us feel connected, then we're gonna look for other threats within ourselves to what divides us, you know.
Yeah, and that's
And
what's happening today.
yeah, and so we look at each other like we're threats, but we're not. Like most people you meet on the street are good people. They're just trying to pay their bills and live a happy life. And
Yes, I
yeah,
agree.
most people like if I walk through the street, and I've been trying to practice this consciously. Like I've really been working very hard to just make eye contact and smile, and just like not like creepy, just like make contact and give like a little smile. Just be like, hey, like
Yeah.
like how you doing, kind of thing. Like give like a little like heads
Yeah.
up kind of thing. And I'm shocked by the responses that I never even knew existed. People would smile back at me. People would say, "How's it going?" People would say, "How you doing?" Like I think we're so expecting strangers to be threats that we even give them the chance.
Well, right. No, I mean outside the cities, you'll they're very friendly. Really.
Yeah, that's the other thing, dude. That's the other thing. I went to visit my friend Yosef, who lives in a place called Boonton, New Jersey.
Oh
Right?
yeah,
It's
that sounds
45
great.
minutes. It's 45 minutes northwest of Muncie.
And for sure, that town for sure has like a convenience store that has a bell when you enter, like clink cling clink cling.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah,
dude, of course.
and it's
Well,
like
everything
the
there is small
hey Tom,
businesses.
hey Tom, hey Bob,
Yeah,
you here for
that's what
some
it
more
is. That's
bread?
what it is. But it
You know
exists,
it.
dude. Like it exists in America, and like like these places exist, you know, and they're doing well. Like it's really really
Always.
cool.
It's been like one of my like dreams to like live in one of those towns.
Yeah,
Like
but you
just
kind of live in one of those now because you live in a community. And
I
like if you
know,
drive
but
like how many times
I
have you
want to
driven
live
down
on
the
a
street to work
mountain.
and
I
you
want
saw
to
me
live on
going
a
for a
mountain.
jog?
Yeah, but I want to live on a mountain with one main street with one store.
Yeah. By the
Oh
way,
man.
that's my dad's cabin in North Carolina is like that.
Yeah,
Everything revolves around the Dollar General store. And like
I love it.
that's it. Like it's just the Dollar General and then you have to drive to you have to cross the state lines. You have to go to Tennessee for the nearest Walmart and the
Wow. How
county
far away is
and the
that?
it's 45-minute drive.
Okay.
And the closest county to my dad, sorry, not the closest county, the county that the cabin's in is
Yeah.
a dry county still. You cannot legally obtain liquor in this county in North Carolina.
You can't bring it from the outside?
No, you could, but you can't buy it. It's a
Right, you
dry
can't.
county. It's illegal to sell alcohol
Right,
in
right.
this county in North Carolina.
That's cool.
That's
So whatever.
so crazy.
Yeah, so you just drive 45 minutes to Tennessee and pick up alcohol.
Yeah, of course. But
Yeah.
can you imagine instead of going to 7-Eleven down the block, you want to play beer pong one night with me, and you instead of playing, or you want to do you want to watch UFC with me, and you're like, oh, you want to go to 7-Eleven or Publix to pick up some beer? And I'm like, nah, man, I got to drive to I have to drive to
Very
Georgia.
simple.
I
Very
have to drive to
simple.
Georgia.
It's very simple. Your dad builds an extension on the cabin, walk-in refrigerator, like a whole room,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then you
dude. We
just
still have to make our way out
put
there.
case, yeah, put cases
I
in
haven't
there.
been to the cabin. I haven't been to the cabin since I got married. Since November 21 or 22. God, I
See,
don't
like
know.
I would want to go, but like if I had like a full week, like
You can take a week
I hate,
though. You can make a week
I know.
happen.
Can you?
I could, dude. If you had, so here's the story. If you had, let's say there was a holiday, right? And you had like, let's say Monday off, Friday, Monday off, right?
Right.
I don't know about Friday, Monday. Let's say Monday off. You could take 2 days off of work, and we could go that Thursday night to like Tuesday or Wednesday,
What
and
about
that'll
what about
that'll be
Thanksgiving?
everything we need. We can make Thanksgiving worth. My family might go there Thanksgiving, and also the problem is
Okay.
that because it's the mountains, Thanksgiving is freezing cold. Um, and
Oh, I love
like the
that.
last time I was there was Thanksgiving, dude. It was like you had to wear gloves, you had to wear scarves. Like when you went on the
Okay. No, I don't
ATV,
like that.
when we went on the ATV, like it was cold, dude. I mean, we're talking like 10, 15 degrees at night and like
No.
45 degrees during the day.
Fuck that.
Yeah, yeah, dude. That's why it's really spring, summer, fall, or bust, you know. But like I think the cutoff date to really go there is like end of October.
Right.
You have to figure it
Wow,
out.
that's so cool.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I've showed you the video before. You know,
Oh my God.
and I
Gorgeous,
haven't been there in
gorgeous.
three, and I haven't been there in 3 years. You know.
Who maintains it? Who maintains it?
So it's so funny that you asked that. This is great. There's a guy named Josh. Josh is the
Of course.
caretaker.
There's
Josh
always a
Harden,
guy. Yeah, there's always a
right?
guy.
Josh Harden's family has lived on this land since like the 1700s. Okay,
Love it. Love it.
Josh's family has a cemetery on the land that we now own.
Nice.
Okay, and it's all the family, all the deceased that have lived there since the 1700s. All right,
So how does your
and
dad own
so
it?
they sold it because the land in North Carolina, the land in the mountains between North Carolina and Tennessee is, I mean, is historically extremely poor because you couldn't grow anything there, and you couldn't support uh,
Wow.
animals like horses or cows or anything. The only thing you could maybe grow was a little bit of tobacco, but
Right.
everyone there was really broke. So when my grandfather's partner came in and made an offer for the place, it was more than like they've ever like dreamt of, which wasn't a lot of money, but it was more than what like they dreamt of. And he bought it, and then he worked in a couple. He left most of it undeveloped. Most of it's not touched, but just he just has this cabin, and he has two cabins, and a bunch of plots of land that are just empty, that are sitting there. There's not really much you could do with them. But
Yeah, it's a massive piece of
so so
land.
he so he he moved to so Josh moved to Asheville, which is like an hour and 20 minutes away, and twice a week he comes by and he takes care of the properties, and he knows it. And so he and I, for example, would sit on the porch at night or in afternoons, and I'd go and I'd buy all my crazy craft beers from Asheville, and I'd come back with a ton of beer, and he'd come in and he'd sit, and we'd just sit there and drink beer all night, and he'll tell me stories about his great uncle Albert and great great uncle Henry, and like he knows his family history down cold. And he knows
Love
where
it.
everyone
That's
lived,
so
and where
cool.
everyone's houses were, and he's telling me stories about the time that Grandpa Albert, shot shot a rifle at like Uncle Harry because he promised not to cross that line by that tree, and he shot him. And I'm like, holy cow, dude! Like, I mean, like this is like history right here,
It's
and I'm
American
just sitting there,
history.
and yeah, it's so cool. And it's also about people, it's also about families shooting each other, which is crazy.
Oh,
But, what can you do,
I
man?
love it.
Um, but it's great.
That's
Yeah, I
great.
mean, it's a ton of fun. Josh has a dog. I think he's married. He has a kid now, but he had a dog, and like this dog would just follow. Like he never had a leash. He had his old beat up pickup truck. Like, I mean, any movie that like is in the middle of nowhere, like this guy's living that life, and he has his overalls and he has his dog that follows him everywhere, never on a leash, jumping into the lake to play fetch, and drinking
Yeah.
beer and eating squirrel meat and doing all this crazy thing. And it's not really crazy. We went fishing and we caught some trout, and I'm a wimp. I don't know what to do with a fish on a hook. So he takes it off and it's wiggling around, right? And he takes
You
and he
grab
takes
it
it
by
by
the
the
mouth.
tail, and he takes it by the tail, and he whacks his head against a rock and kills it immediately,
Yeah.
right? Boom,
Yeah,
dead.
that's what you're supposed to
And
do.
then he pulls the tail, and because with fish apparently, I don't know how this works, but apparently with fish, all the bones in the body are like connected to the spine.
Yeah, yeah. You pull the
So if you
tail and all the
yank,
guts come out. Yeah.
yeah, and everything. So he was like, okay, let me clean it. And he just like tugged it, and everything came out. And he was like,
Yeah.
okay, here you go. Time to, he goes, just throw this on the grill. Just throw this on the grill for 3 minutes, 4 minutes on each side. It'll be perfect. A little salt and pepper, and that's all you need. It
Oh
was
my God.
incredible. It was so delicious, dude.
Oh, it's the best. Fresh cooked fish.
Yeah, man. It was really great. It was really crazy. Um, so yeah, I
Fishing,
mean,
man.
but this is all 4 or 5 years ago at this point. This is 2019, 2020. This is when COVID hit and I was locked down, and I didn't. I was living in I moved back from Seattle. I was living in my parents' house. I was going crazy living here. So I would just go. So I would just kidnap a couple of friends. If they were in college or they were working, everything was remote because it was
Uh-huh.
COVID. And we just had Wi-Fi there. So we drove up and we'd all work there from there for a week at a time, a week and a half at a time. That was the first time I made a potato bong. I used a potato as a bong because we forgot to buy anything for weed. And
Interesting.
you know, we,
Potato.
we
Interesting.
made like, yeah, dude. Because all you do is like scoop out that little like from the top. You make a little like you take like a little almost like a
Yeah,
straw
I
kind of scoop.
understand. Yeah. Yeah, no, I understand the concept. Just usually it's like an apple or something.
Yeah, we didn't have apples. We had potatoes because
I love
it was
it.
supposed to be for dinner. Yeah. They're like, yeah, you're gonna go hungry. You're gonna rip a potato bong right now. They're like, obviously, you got to rip a potato bong. But it was good, man. It was all good. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, dude. When am I? So, dude, are you having poker this week?
poker. I don't know. Yeah, I
Last week
should
didn't
have a
happen,
good
right?
poker. No, we watched the fight this past Saturday night.
Dude, it was the
Um,
the whole night was so good.
yeah, I had Guy, Pacey, and Shua.
Oh, Shua came?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that, dude. I love he's the man, dude. I love hanging out with him.
So
Um,
we were
he's
talking
into
about
he's
Guy.
into UFC.
He loves it, but we were talking about Guy on your podcast, and he's like, "What podcast?" so, so I'm like, "What do you mean? Come together with a Fry Mershman?" So we showed him, and he's like, so like proud of you. He's like so impressed.
I got to
It
get him
was
on,
very
dude.
funny.
I would love to have, dude. I would love to have him up. I got to have him as in person. Also, yeah, I gotta have him as an in person guest. I can't do a Zoom call with him.
Oh my God! When
But
you come back to Florida, we got to do protect our parks, like live stream, like
yeah, yeah, live stream,
everything.
big video, do everything, dude. So
At Joe
tell so
Rogan, at
so
Shane Gillis.
what was tell me about UFC. What was the night like?
It was just a great fight. The last fight wasn't so good.
The last
Um,
fight was yeah. Well, I mean, by the way, I mean it's crazy that he won. I don't know. I,
yeah,
I I never watched. Who is the defending guy? Who is the defending
Leon
champion?
Edwards.
Leon Edwards. I never saw him before, but he didn't look like he
He
was
looked
trying even.
terrible. He looked
What was
terrible.
going what was going on with
I
him?
don't know. I don't know. I
Do you think he
really
had to
don't
lose too
know.
much weight to make weight? Like too much water weight? Like what was it?
I think something was up with him, but the real reason, my favorite was I love watching Patty.
Dude, Patty was he won quickly, dude, but he was incredible. I thought when I was watching the highlight videos and I was watching them both come out, I'm like, Patty's gonna have a tough time with this guy because I only saw one fight and it was a
The
COVID fight where no one
yeah,
was there, and I was like, I can't imagine him really like beating this guy, and then he demolished him, dude. It was incredible.
yeah, yeah. That the guy who he played. You think he would have told that person that his dog shit on his driveway? No.
Yeah, that was great. That was such a good video. I sent it to my dad because I was watching UFC with my dad, and my dad's like, "Oh, these guys are all animals." And I sent him the video. I'm like, "This guy's the most considerate human being you've ever seen in your entire life."
Yeah, it was
Like
great.
who does that, man?
Rather be fat and happy than
I gotta be fat and
yeah.
happy. I don't give an ass what you say.
I mean, he's like, yeah, this six pack is sound, but I'd rather be fat happy.
Yeah, dude, Patty the Batty, man. He's a new favorite of mine, dude. The exciting thing about getting into UFC just a couple of months ago, or like 4 or 5 months ago, is that everyone is still
Yeah,
new and exciting to me. I don't know who anyone is. So like all these
right.
new characters, like I'm like being introduced to them, like I can get behind these guys. You guys are awesome, you know?
Yeah, the one person I was telling you about, you got to watch John Jones videos.
Yeah, I have to. I've heard about him before. I have to watch
Ooh,
him.
ooh. I said he's definitely top three ever, probably.
Yeah, you think so?
Oh my God.
Who's
Yeah,
he fought before?
he's held his title the longest. He's fought everyone. He's like he fought in the years of like between 2010 and 2000 like 20. That was like his prime
Okay.
years. But now he's like a little older, but he's still, you know, the funniest thing. Um, hello,
I'm here,
hello.
dude. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
The funniest thing during the fight, what Shua said, it was hysterical. Oh my God, I was like, whatever. So he said, a fighter after 5 rounds of fighting, if he's like that tired, if I were to come in, Shua said he could probably finish off that guy. So, so I said, Shua, you're out of your mind.
There is
You know what I'm saying?
something about religious Jews that are so
No,
audacious.
I know because he
We have
saw how
so
tired.
much
No,
audacity.
no, let's no. He saw how tired he was after the fifth round. Like he couldn't breathe. So he's like, if I came in right now, I could beat him. And I'm like,
No, you
Shua?
couldn't.
No, 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 no. I said this. I said, Shua, I promised you, he will kill you. Literally kill you. Literally kill you.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he's like, no, no, no. He's so tired, he can't move. I'm like, I can't believe you're even saying this. Like, it's like, I can't. And like, guy, you know how guy is. Guy's like, no, maybe he can, maybe he can. You know.
He's
And I'm
encouraging
like,
it, dude.
oh my god, my guy, shut up. Like, it can't happen. Cannot happen.
It's like Aaron, dude. Remember when Aaron was like, "Yeah, I could score 2 points in
Oh
the
no,
NBA."
maybe
I'm
no,
like,
no. Maybe
dude,
guy also said no. Maybe guy also said that no, it can't happen. I think maybe Pacey. I don't know. Someone else said, but it was just like
I
I don't
understand,
want
but yeah,
to. Is yeah. Um, it's so funny.
it's so
I was like,
funny.
you
It's so funny,
guys.
dude. We have the worst genes and we have the worst like natural capabilities, and we're like, oh yeah, man. Like I could probably score a point in the NBA. I could probably take out Leon Edwards after 5 rounds. Like, dude, shut up. What are you talking? Like, shut up, man. What are you talking about? And
It's
like, I
just
love,
what
I
like you
love
don't even
them,
know how.
but what the hell?
No, but like you don't even know how to throw a punch. Does he know how to throw a punch?
No,
And oh,
dude,
and
I don't know how to throw a
Shua,
punch.
Shua, if you're listening, I love you. I have
Dude,
to
he
say
doesn't know
that.
how to throw a punch. I don't know how to throw a punch. Do you know how to throw a punch? Have you ever thrown a punch before?
Yes.
You have thrown one?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it
dude. I
hurts.
don't know how
It
to throw a punch.
hurts. It definitely hurts a lot.
Really? It hurts you.
As yes, as much as it hurts the other guy, it really hurts a lot. Your own hand, like
Yeah.
you punch a guy good, like your hand is sore for like a couple of days. Yeah,
Huh. Yeah. I
yeah. Don't
haven't
try it.
you know what, dude? I was never able to bring myself to like I'm a big person. I've never been able to bring
Yeah.
myself to be like physically confrontational. Like I'm a wimp. I'm okay with it, dude. But I'm
No,
absolutely a
I
wimp. Like
no,
if I
but
ever
I've
got
never.
if someone came up to me and Rachel in Manhattan, like if we were in
Right.
Harlem,
No,
dude,
so
I
that's
would
what I'm
run
saying.
for the hills.
Oh, okay. No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't punch a guy for like sport or fun. Like, I felt it. I've only punched a guy when I felt like I was in danger.
Hmm.
You know, like that. Like, I've never like gotten drunk and said like, "Yo, bro, let's fight it out. You and me, let's fight it out." Never
Dude,
done
I've
that.
had a friend when I was in Israel for the year. We used to take these things called shayruts. They were 10, 12 person
Yeah, I used
cabs.
to take those. I used to take those from Rishid also. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You in Beit Shemesh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, dude. So you know what I'm talking about. So everyone would pitch in
Yeah.
like 15, 20 shekel, which is like four or
Yep.
$5.
Yep.
And and the driver would take you and it would be 10, 12 guys, right? And I'm getting in the car and I'm not really friends with one of these guys. And and I hear him say, dude, I'm getting blackout drunk tonight and I'm gonna get in a fight. And I'm like, that's such like and I'm thinking to myself, like it's such a ridiculous
It's like
goal. Like it's
it's
such an
almost like it's
absurd way
yeah.
for you to plan your night,
No, it's like
right?
it's almost like it's a rite of passage for him. Like he needs to do it.
Yeah. So first of all, I think that's part of. I'm sure that he probably thought that, but I'm like, that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah.
So fast forward like 6 hours, right? This happening at like 9, 10 p.m., two,
Uh
three
huh.
o'clock in the morning. I'm I'm with my friends. I'm walking down the street and I'm having a great time. And I see him. He is when someone's standing, but like you could tell that they're barely capable of keeping themselves like upwards, like they're so
Yeah.
drunk, like their knees are wobbling and they don't know what
Yeah.
to do with
Yeah.
themselves. So yeah, um, so he's standing there and he's wobbling and he's looking at this guy, and this guy is obviously sober, and this guy is obviously like very like with it, and
Yeah. Right.
I forgot the whole back and forth. But pretty much the guy was like, dude, like, stop insulting me, stop calling me names, I'm gonna hit you. And he was like, whoa, what are you, gay? And he's like, I'm
Oh
gonna
my
hit you, dude.
God.
And he goes, okay, fag. And like the guy literally, like, he puts one hand out, puts his hand on his shoulder, right,
Yeah.
to keep him still, and he takes the other hand and he slowly pulls it all the way back, and he punches him in the face, right, and the guy's just standing there like wobbling the whole time, like leading up to it, and he gets
Yeah.
decked in the face, he falls down. He's like, "What the hell, man?" And I go over and I'm like, "Dude, like." He doesn't know any better, man. I'm sorry, man. The guy's like, it's fine. Just like get your stupid friend out of here. And I go
Right.
and I take him and I get him some ice. I get him some ice. I get him a cold water. And I'm like, what was that about, man? He's like, I don't know, man. He just like, came up to me, just started fighting with me. I'm like, all right, dude. Like, obviously, like you're gonna tell the story the rest of your life, and no one's gonna know the truth to what's actually
Well,
happened over here. You know?
of course.
So funny.
God.
Yeah, God bless, dude. It's always a good time. All right, dude. I gotta run for now. Um, but let's call it here.
Yeah. A
And next
pleasure.
time we'll do this. Next time we do this in person, dude. All right.
100%. Good
All
luck.
right, brother. Love you, man. I'll catch you soon. Bye.
Yeah.